Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? You are knowing what you are wanting. It's a good thing, isn't it? That feeling of clarity, nothing better, is there? Do you remember when you were younger and new felt so good? A new idea felt so good to you, so fresh and new. It's supposed to feel good when you hatch a new idea about something that you currently don't have. That is supposed to feel good. And then it is also supposed to feel good when you realize that you are not in the vibrational vicinity of it. That's supposed to feel good too. It's supposed to feel good to you to realize where you are in relationship to what you want. It's really supposed to feel good as the desire that you have harvested from the contrast that is surrounding you. It's supposed to feel good as you mold that idea into its fullness. In other words, it's supposed to feel good when the idea is hatched, and it's supposed to feel good as you imagine it coming, and it's supposed to feel good as you get to watch all of the cooperative components of the universe come into place in order to assist you in the full realization, the see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version of your creation. It's supposed to feel good. And if it isn't in any moment feeling good, then you are unnecessarily introducing resistance into the equation that is not only slowing the results down, which is a big deal to you. We don't want it to be, but it is. It's a big deal to you, but it's not fun in the slowing down process. It isn't fun to doubt. It isn't fun to not believe in yourself. It isn't fun to not believe in your success. It isn't fun to expect things to turn out badly. It isn't fun to not have things the way you want them to be. And it isn't natural either, because you are the creator of your own reality. You get to decide what you want, and then all you have to do is practice the vibrational frequency of the desire instead of the vibrational frequency of the absence of the desire, and the desire will begin unfolding right before your eyes, and that is so much fun. So what keeps you, in most cases, from focusing upon your desire? What causes you, in other words, to focus often upon the absence of the very thing that you want, is that you are so, we're trying to find a nice way of saying it, you're so interested in what is. You're so interested in cataloging and pigeonholing and comparing the reality that is already manifested in your experience to what others have, or to what others are living, or even to what you really want. And so as you are focusing on what is, you are preventing what is from evolving to what is preferred. That is really the easiest way to say it. Well, you got to wonder, well, Abraham, what am I supposed to focus on? In other words, I've got all of these physical senses, and I am a keen observer. How do I not observe what is? And we say, you're supposed to be able to observe what is, but be a better selective sifter about it. Look for more of the positive aspects and complain less, and look for more reasons to feel good, and look for more reasons to pat yourself on the back, and others too. Look for more reasons to appreciate, and look for more reasons to reflect on the good things that are coming. Because you are an extension of source energy who is always doing that. And the way you feel in every moment in time is completely about what you're doing in relationship to what that larger part of you is doing. We say to you that you are vibrational beings, but even better description of you is that you are extensions of source energy. You are source energy in physical bodies. You are leading edge creators out here on the leading edge of creation. And so as you came into this physical body, you came from source energy. And the larger part of you didn't come into this body. The larger part of you still remains source energy. So here you are, an extension of source energy, forever tied to that perspective, forever emotionally tied to that perspective, forever vibrationally tied to that perspective. And the reason that you are emotionally tied to that perspective is because that source energy perspective of you has an opinion of you, of where you are, of what you're doing, of others around you, of life, of your creation. In other words, source is interested, deeply interested, so intricately involved in all that you are. So when you find a reason to be mad at someone, the reason that it feels so awful is because source within you is not in agreement with your negative attention to this person or this situation. Esther will say every now and again, Abraham, I think you need more information. Because if you knew what I knew, you would agree with me. But the thing about source is pure positive energy, no resistance. When source holds a desire, source does not contradict that desire with contrary thought. So here's how it works. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. As you came into this physical body, here you are exploring the variety around you, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, launching these rockets of desire. And each time, from your unique and very important point of view, you launch a rocket of desire, source acknowledges that new desire and becomes it vibrationally. So you just became whatever it was that life caused you to want vibrationally. Now, as a human, you often want to say, oh, big deal, I became it vibrationally, but I still don't have the money in my bank. I became it, I launched the desire, but the desire is still not mine. Jerry said so often, I want to find a way to explain how vibrations become manifestations. He wanted to write a book called Turning Thoughts to Things, because you all live in a universe where you're aware of things, but you got to be aware of the thoughts and their relationship to the things. And we want to take it further. We want you to understand. So when you do things like meditate, which when someone suggested that to Jerry and Esther, they said, what? Sounded so weird to them. They were business people. They didn't want that weirdness in their life. Made them think of walking on hot coals and sleeping on beds of nails, and the man at the airport standing on one foot with his hand out for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And Esther said, meditate, what do you mean? Sit in a quiet room and wear comfortable clothing and focus on your breathing. And when your mind wanders, and it will, release the thought and focus on your breathing. So they did. They went home, put on comfortable clothing, put on their bathrobes, closed the curtains, sat in these wingback chairs, because it was embarrassing to do such a weird thing together. Etagere between them, focused on breathing. And right away, Esther felt the detachment from focusing only on her breathing. For 9 months, Jerry and Esther sat and meditated. Then she's sitting there one day, 15 minutes a day was all, and her nose began moving around. It was like flying in her detached state. She couldn't really feel her foot from her nose. She just was sort of like a nebulous being. She wasn't in her body so much. She wasn't out of her body. She just sort of felt detached from everything. And suddenly she realized that she was spelling the alphabet with her nose. Well, we had been offering blocks of thought to her for months, but she wasn't expecting to receive blocks of thought from source. So it wasn't until we started writing like chalk on a chalkboard, she said to Jerry, I'm spelling the alphabet with my nose. Jerry got his notebook. He knew something was up. So what we want you to understand is you don't have to spell with your nose on a chalkboard. You have source flowing to you. And when you get in the vibrational vicinity and source has this knowing that is being presented to you, when you are in the vicinity of it, you will receive that revelation. But more important and better said, you will be able to translate it. You will realize it into something meaningful. And the first thing that happens is you'll receive a thought. That's the first stage of the turning of the vibration into things. It's the thought occurs to you, and right with the thought comes an emotional response. And when you're tuned in, like Esther was, not even realizing it, she was tuned in because, hear this, she wasn't tuned out. It's like a cork bobbing on the surface of the water. Let's call that tuned in. Hold it under the water, that's not tuned in. Let go of it, it'll bob right back up. In other words, you don't have to work for your alignment. Just stop doing that thing you do that keeps you from alignment. That complaining or that haranguing or that blaming or that guilting. So you receive the thought and then you receive the emotion. Feels so simultaneous. And then if you are able to find a way of practicing the vibrational frequency of the belief of your desire, then more and more things will occur. Universal forces will come into place. Rendezvous will occur. More co-creation with more others until you will be the absolute, no exception, full realizer, receiver of anything that you have desired. If this time-space reality has the wherewithal to inspire within you a desire, it has the wherewithal to deliver it to you in fullness. And as you look around, there are plenty of those who are receiving plenty of realizations of plenty of things that they want, but you're just getting started. This is the time of awakening. This is the time when more of you are coming into vibrational alignment with who you really are. It's the time when you are returning to the fullness of who you are, to that joyous being, to that fun-loving being, to that happy, expectant, positive being that you were when you were born, that you are meant to be. And it's not a difficult road back into that kind of alignment. We're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. There is nothing that is off limits here. You will notice the perfect unfolding. Sometimes you'll have your hand up and we won't call specifically on you, but we'll ask someone else to the hot seat who will have the same thing to talk about that you want to know about, and you will hear it more easily from there than from there. It is our promise that anything that is active within you that you are wanting to understand, we will talk about fully to your satisfaction. The important thing to understand is that the better you feel and the more expectant you are of receiving the answer, the more likely you are to receive it. We're going to have a wonderful day here today. It is our knowing that not only will we satisfy what you've come to know about, that together we can feel who you are. We'll take thought beyond that which it has been before. Because this group of physical and non-physical has never been before unto all of the universe. We are unique in our coming together, in our focus, in our vibrational soup. Good things are about to happen today. What do you want to talk about? Really good. You've come with things. There's a lot of trouble in this room.